ఇంటర్మీడియట్ విద్యారంగంలో అగ్రగామి మన ఎన్ఎస్ఆర్ ఇంపల్స్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ ఇన్స్టిట్యూషన్. ఐఐటి, జేఈఈ అయినా, నీట్ అయినా తిరుగులేని విద్యా సంస్థ ఎన్ఎస్ఆర్ ఇంపల్స్.
Hello students, now let us continue our discussion about glycolysis. So for the last class we have discussed up to here, up to fourth step, cleavage. Now the fructose 1,6 biphosphate further divided in DHAP and G3P. Right, so here if you look at here, now what is a very important thing to discuss here? For the last class we studied fructose 1,6 biphosphate divided into DHAP, 2 molecules each one having 3 carbons, and here 2 molecules of G3P each one having 3 carbons. And what is the name of the enzyme here? The name of the enzyme is triose phosphate isomerization. What is the name of the reaction? Name of the reaction is isomerization. Now whenever we get the question, so we have a possibility of getting the question. What is the question? The common step between what you call C3 pathway, Calvin cycle, or sometimes they will ask you the common step between Calvin cycle happens where? Photosynthesis. Okay, or let me give that as another question. So here we can take the common step between Calvin cycle and glycolysis. Then what is the step we can write as a common step? Or sometimes the same question they will ask you the common step between photosynthesis and respiration. So what is the common step between respiration and photosynthesis? Photosynthesis in that Calvin cycle. In respiration is glycolysis. What is the common step? The common step is conversion of DHAP to G3P. So remember, so name of the enzyme. Sometimes they will ask you the enzyme which is involved in as a common step between Calvin cycle and glycolysis. Then you have to remember triose phosphate isomerase. And what is the reaction? Isomerization. What is the reaction? Isomerization. Right, DHAP, triose phosphate isomerase is the name of the enzyme. DHAP converts into G3P. It's a common step between photosynthesis and respiration. Very important question. So which is that common step? This is a common step. Conversion of DHAP to G3P happens in both photosynthesis as well as in respiration. In both processes it occurs. That's a very important question you have to remember. So most frequently you will get this question. What is that? The common step between Calvin cycle and glycolysis, or the question may be given it as the common step between photosynthesis and respiration. So always you remember that is from DHAP to G3P. Did you remember? You studied the same step even in Calvin cycle. Out of the 12 molecules of G3P, 2 molecules of G3P is involved in synthesis of hexose sugar, and remaining 10 molecules of G3P utilized in regeneration of RUBP, where in Calvin cycle. Right? Similarly here the same step occurs even in the glycolysis. This question is very important. Hope so that you will note down this question. Let us continue with glycolysis. Now what happens in this glycolysis? Now produced is 2 molecules of G3P. Now 2 molecules of G3P, it will get converted into a 1,3-biphosphoglyceric acid, bisphosphoglyceric acid, by the conversion of NAD plus 2 molecules of NAD plus converts into 2 molecules of NADPH2. So what produced here? It's nothing but 2 NAD plus what is produced here converts into 2 molecules of NADPH2. The energy is produced. Very important. So this is produced here. 2 molecules of NADPH2 is produced here. Right. Now in this case, if you look at as NADPH2 is produced here, name of the reaction is oxidation 1. This is called oxidation 1. Right. And here this is very important. Why? Because here oxidation 1 is taking place. Oxidation 1 or itself is called intramolecular shift. Now in this case NAD plus is getting reduced into NADPH2. So what is the name of the enzyme? I am writing name of the enzyme here. So I will write here. So this is for this G3P, glyceroldehyde 3-phosphodehydrogenase. Right. This enzyme is for this. Okay. So I am writing here 2G3P, 2-glyceroldehyde 3-phosphate converts into 1,3-biphosphoglyceric acid in the 2 molecules of NAD plus gets converted into 2 NADPH2, means 2 molecules of NADPH2 is produced, right. So what is the name of the enzyme? This is the name of the enzyme for this. For this it is G3P. What is G3P? Glyceroldehyde 3-phosphate converts into 1,3-bisphosphoglyceric acid. What is PGA here? You know what is full form of PGA? That is nothing but phosphoglyceric acid. What is that called? Phosphoglyceric acid. 1,3-biphosphoglyceric acid. Now further it undergoes, but before that you remember there is a production of 2 molecules of NADPH2 and this undergoes oxidation number 1. Let us take the count for oxidations. There are number of oxidations we have to take the count. See, first oxidation step occurs here. This name of the reaction is called oxidation 1 or itself is also called as intramolecular shift. This itself is called as what? Intramolecular shift. Okay. This reaction is called oxidation 1 or itself is called as intramolecular shift. So this is what happens in conversion of G3P to 1,3-biphosphoglyceric acid, and remember 2 NADPH2 are produced. What is the name of the enzyme? Glyceroldehyde 3-phosphodehydrogenase. What is produced? 1,3-bisphosphoglyceric acid. Right. Now further this get converted into 3-phosphoglyceric acid. Okay, this step there is no space here. You people continue writing down. So you after this arrow mark, again after this arrow mark, again after this arrow mark. But I will just continue writing here. So same thing what I have written here I am going to write here. So here what we have to take? 1,3-bis-phospho-biphosphoglyceric acid. Now it get converted into what? 3-phosphoglyceric acid. Right. Now look at here. Now while conversions here, the 2 molecules of ADP get converted to produce 2 molecules of ATP. Okay. So how many molecules of ATP is produced here? Why? Because bi means 2 phosphorus. 2 phosphorus are coming out. So here bisphosphoglyceric acid converts into 3-phosphoglyceric acid. First phosphorus attached to first carbon, next phosphorus attached to third carbon. Third carbon phosphorus is as it is, phosphorus attached to third carbon. First carbon attached phosphorus is coming out. How many molecules are here? 2 molecules. So here also you find 2 molecules. So there is a production of ATP. ATP is produced. So what is this name of the reaction? Fifth one is isomerization. So you can write here sixth one is oxidation or itself called intramolecular shift. Now let us write seventh one as dephosphorylation. Because phosphorus is removed, it's called dephosphorylation. This is very important. Why? Because why it is very important? Because this is also called as substrate level phosphorylation. Very important. This is also called substrate level phosphorylation. Very important. Substrate level phosphorylation means phosphorus is removed from the substrate. So this is substrate level phosphorylation number 1. This is called SLP number 1. SLP number 1 means substrate level phosphorylation 1. Very, very important. Questions will come. Which step is substrate level phosphorylation? Questions will come. Very, very important. The step is conversion of 1,3-bisphosphoglyceric acid to 3-phosphoglyceric acid. That is substrate level phosphorylation, or itself is called dephosphorylation. This is first one. So we call substrate level phosphorylation number 1. Very, very important. Question will come. Now that is name of the reaction. And what is the name of the enzyme? So we can write phosphoglycerokinase. We will write name of the enzyme is phosphoglycerokinase. This is nothing but name of the enzyme. Right? Next, now 3-phosphoglyceric acid further gets converted into 2-phosphoglyceric acid. It gets converted into 2-phosphoglyceric acid. Now this happens with the help of, so here what is nothing but isomers, they both are nothing but isomers here. So we call this is nothing but isomerization, 8th reaction of conversion from 3-phosphoglyceric acid to 2-phosphoglyceric acid. Nothing, here phosphorus shift from 3rd carbon to 2nd carbon. So both are isomers, that's why it's called isomerization. So what is the name of the enzyme which we have to write here? The name of the enzyme for this is nothing but phosphoglyceromutase. So we write here phosphoglyceromutase. So whenever kinase is there, I told you magnesium will come into the picture. Now 3-PGA converts into 2-PGA with the help of enzyme phosphoglyceromutase, right? And it undergoes isomerization because 3-PGA, 2-PGA both are isomers. PGA means phosphoglyceric acid, 3rd carbon shift into 2nd carbon phosphoglyceric acid. Reaction is called isomerization and name of the enzyme is phosphoglyceromutase. Whatever ends with ASC, it's called enzyme name. Right? Now further let us continue down. Now this further gets converted into 2-PEP, that is PEP means here we can take this is all 3 carbon compounds. What all we are taking? All are nothing but 2 molecules. This is nothing but phosphoenol pyruvate. Phosphoenol pyruvate. 2-PGA, phosphorus attached to 3rd carbon, converts into PEP, phosphoenol pyruvate. So phosphoenol pyruvate having how many molecules are produced? 2 molecules are produced. What is PEP? PEP is nothing but phosphoenol pyruvate. Now this phosphoenol pyruvate, when you look at here, what happens here is water molecule goes out. There is a release of water molecule. Water molecule is released out from PGA. That's why it converts into PEP. So the name of the reaction, here we write this is as dehydration. The name of the reaction, what occurs here, it's called as dehydration. So what is the name of the enzyme here? The name of the enzyme is nothing but here enolase. So the 2-PGA converts into PEP, phosphoenol pyruvate, by losing water molecule. That's why the name of the reaction is called dehydration, and it occurs, the reaction is being catalyzed with the help of an enzyme enolase. 2-PGA converts into 2-PEP. What is PEP? Phosphoenol pyruvate. Right. Now further if you look at, and this gets converted into 2 molecules of pyruvic acid, and as an end product here having 3 carbons, pyruvic acid is produced here. But here very importantly again there is a formation of 2 molecules of ATP. So there is a formation of 2 molecules of ATP while converting from PEP to pyruvic acid. Now because of this, this is called as, again 10th one, this is called as dephosphorylation. What do we call again? This is called as dephosphorylation. So remember, this step is also very important. Why do you go in this is question will come? Why? Because this is called SLP2. What is SLP2? SLP1 is this. So let us take this is SLP2. What is SLP? Substrate level phosphorylation. So what is that? Substrate level phosphorylation. What is SLP? SLP is substrate level phosphorylations. So there are two substrate level phosphorylation. Here also dephosphorylation is called substrate level phosphorylation 1. Very important. What is that conversion from where to where? 1,3-bisphosphoglyceric acid through 3-phosphoglyceric acid. There is a formation of two molecules of ATP. This is called dephosphorylation. Itself is called substrate level phosphorylation 1. Importantly, remember the enzyme phosphoglycerokinase. Kinase for that activator is magnesium. Similarly, the last step, conversion from PEP to pyruvic acid, itself is also called dephosphorylation. As SLP, substrate level phosphorylation number 2, where even there is a synthesis of two molecules of ATP. And what is the name of the enzyme? The name of the enzyme is pyruvate kinase, or you can write pyruvic kinase. So wherever pyruvic kinase is there, magnesium will come into the picture. Kinase is an enzyme, for that magnesium is an activator. So what is the end product of glycolysis? So the end product of glycolysis produced is pyruvic acid having 3 carbons. There are 2 molecules of pyruvic acid. Now this is nothing but end product of glycolysis. Produced where? Produced within the cytoplasm. It is produced into the cytoplasm. Very important. Glycolysis total pathway, it's very important. In this you have to remember name of the reactions, you have to remember name of the enzymes, you have to remember name of the enzymes, you have to remember. That's why I already told you this pathway in enzymes chapter, so that time you will be having more time. So I thought that you can complete cycle practice, glycolysis cycle practice. If you remember, I told you at the time of enzymes also. So if you practiced it, it becomes really easy for you all, right? This is nothing but total glycolysis pathway, very important pathway, and it is having lot of weightage. Right, now let us go with quick revision of glycolysis. Guys, I am telling you this pathway is very important. Make sure that all of you make sure that you practice it on a paper. Okay, now let me give you a quick revision of this, very important. All of you once again concentrate and follow it carefully. Glycolysis meaning glucose lysis, lysis of glucose. Glucose is produced in the process of photosynthesis. Now it will undergo breakdown, right, and produces finally pyruvic acid. So this is studied by the 3 scientists, Embeden, Meyerhoff, Paranas. That's why it's called EMP pathway, and it is also referred as fundamental respiration, also called core respiration. Also it's referred as universal biological process because it happens in every living organism. That's why we call universal biological process, right. So glycolysis begins with glucose. So what is the compound we find in glucose? Glucose we find C6H12O6. This is nothing but glucose having 6 carbons. So we wrote 6 carbons. Initially it utilizes one molecule, here only one molecule, not 2 molecules. Remember, here it makes use of only one molecule of ATP. So glucose converts into glucose 6-phosphate with the help of an enzyme hexokinase. Magnesium is an activator for that, and first reaction is called phosphorylation because ATP is utilized, phosphorus is utilized, and that phosphorus comes to glucose, added at the 6th carbon, it converts glucose 6-phosphate. In the next step, glucose 6-phosphate converts into fructose 6-phosphate. It becomes phosphoglucosisomerase and the name of the reaction is isomerization because both of them are isomers. Next, fructose 6-phosphate converts into fructose 1,6-biphosphate. One more phosphorus attached to the first carbon, already another phosphorus is there at 6th carbon. From where this phosphorus is coming? It is coming from one more ATP molecule. So, here also one ATP molecule is utilized, converts into ADP with the help of an enzyme phosphofructokinase. Magnesium is an activator and the name of the reaction is phosphorylation. Okay. Now, fructose 1,6-biphosphate, it undergo cleavage, breakdown and divide into 3 carbon compound one side and 3 carbon compound another side. So, what is that? 2 molecules of DHAP, 3 carbon dihydroxyacetone phosphate. Another compound is glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate having 3 carbons. Now, this is a reversible reaction. They can interconvert on each other with the help of an enzyme triose phosphate isomerase and name of the reaction is isomerization. So, this is very important because we have a question on this, mostly we get question on this because this is a common step of reaction which happens in both Kelvin as well as glycolysis. Kelvin is photosynthesis and this is glycolysis. The common step is this and what is the enzyme is triose phosphate isomerase. In the next step of conversion, 2 molecules of G3P converts into 1,3-bisphosphoglyceric acid and get reduced with 2NAD plus converts into 2NADPH2 and this is oxidation number 1, very important. This step is very important because this itself you have to remember, this is oxidation number 1 or it is called intramolecular shift. So, in the first entire respiration, oxidation number 1 conversion from where to where means G3P to 1,3-bisphosphoglyceric acid, that is oxidation number 1. In the entire respiration, this is number 1 oxidation, right, means first oxidation. Then later we go oxidation number 2, oxidation number 3, 4, 5 like that we go ahead. But oxidation number 1 converts what to what means G3P to this. This is glyceraldehyde 3-phosphodehydrogenase is an enzyme. 1,3-bisphosphoglyceric acid converts into 3-phosphoglyceric acid and here it produces 2 molecules of ATP and this reaction is called dephosphorylation. Itself is called SLP1 means substrate level phosphorylation. Even this question is very important. In this SLP1 occurs in converting what to what means this to this. In this 2 molecules of ATP is synthesized with the help of an enzyme phosphoglycerokinase. Magnesium is a activator. Next, 3-phosphoglyceric acid converts into 2-phosphoglyceric acid with the help of what is called help of enzyme phosphoglyceromutase with the name of the reaction is isomerization because both are isomers. Here 3rd carbon having phosphorus, here 2nd carbon having phosphorus. 2-PGA converts into 2-phosphoenol pyruvate by losing water molecule here. So, 2 molecules loses 2 water molecules and this undergoes dehydration with the help of an enzyme enolase. Now, further 2-PEP 3 carbon, now it will make use produces 2 more molecules of ATP while converting into 2 molecules of pyruvic acid with the help of an enzyme pyruvic kinase. Magnesium is an activator for this and this is also called dephosphorylation meaning substrate level phosphorylation number 2. From this also questions will come, very important. Substrate level phosphorylation 2 occurs, conversions from where to where means remember PEP to pyruvic acid. Finally, end product of glycolysis produced here is this is pyruvic acid, very important. Where this glycolysis occurs within the cytoplasm. So, name of the reactions and name of the enzymes, where ATP is utilized, where ATP is released, where NADPH2 released, and these steps are very important. Okay, so let us continue further here. Now, if you take in this case, so here how many phosphorylations? Number of phosphorylations 2, number of dephosphorylations 2. So whenever you get the question that ratio between number of phosphorylations and dephosphorylations, here 1 and 2, 2 phosphorylations, dephosphorylation 1 and 2, 2 for dephosphorylations. So ratio is 1:1, right? Isomerizations and all that, right? Now if you look at oxidation number 1 step is very important. I'll just write down the steps which are very important for you all to remember. I just want to tell you one thing. If you take the energetics of glycolysis, so I thought of not to erase. Anyway, glucose to glucose 6-phosphate, fructose 6-phosphate, fructose 1,6 biphosphate, from there into DHAP, yeah, so DG3P, right. Now where are the ATPs are being consumed here? Now here 1 molecule of ATP is consumed, ATP is produced, and here also 1 molecule of ATP is consumed and produced with ATP. So in energetics, number of ATPs consumed, how many? There are 2 ATPs. How many ATPs? There are 2 ATPs. Here in conversion of glucose to glucose 6-phosphate, 1 ATP is consumed. Fructose 6-phosphate to fructose 1,6-phosphate, 1 ATP is consumed. So the number of ATPs consumed are 2 ATPs. Number of ATPs consumed are 2 ATPs. Suppose if you take number of ATPs produced, how many ATPs are produced? Here 2 molecules of ATP, 2, and here also 2 molecules of ATP. Totally how many? 4 molecules of ATP. 4 molecules of ATP are produced. So look at the parameter here. Produced are 4, consumed are 2. So what is the net gain? So net gain will be 2 ATP. What is the net gain? Net gain will be 2 ATP. I am talking about glycolysis, first step, 2 ATP. But still if you look at energy here there is a production of 2 molecules of NADPH2. Even there is a production of how much? 2 molecules of NADPH2. So here 2 molecules of NADPH2 if you look at. So here how many molecules are produced? 2 molecules of NADPH2. Now where they are produced? Produced in the cytoplasm. Now in cytoplasm each NADPH2 produces or produces 2 molecules of ATP. Okay, each NADPH2 contributes 2 molecules of ATP. Now how many NADPH2 here altogether? Let me write down here. So I will just write down. Each NADPH2 produces how many ATP? Produces 2 ATP. Okay, each NADPH2 produces how many ATP? 2 ATP. Why? It is cytoplasm. If it is matrix of mitochondria, then it becomes 3 ATP. That I will tell you later. NADPH2 coming from glycolysis, because it is happening in the cytoplasm, each NADPH2 produces 2 ATP. Because the reaction is happening in the cytoplasm. NADPH2 coming from glycolysis, each NADPH2 contributes to ATP. Next step what? Link reaction. Next step what? Krebs cycle, electron transport system. In that all reactions are happening where? In the matrix of mitochondria. In the matrix of mitochondria, in Krebs cycle, in link reaction, each NADPH2 contributes 3 ATP. That I will talk to you later, that I will tell you later, but try to remember in the cytoplasm each NADPH2 produces 2 ATP. How many NADPH2 altogether? 2 NADPH2. 2 into 2 ATP. So it produces how many ATP? 4 ATP. So if you add totally, it produces 6 ATP is produced. Are you getting me? 2 ATP is a net gain and 2 NADPH2 contribute 2 into 2 ATP, 4 ATP. 4 plus 2, 6 ATP produced or generated at the time of glycolysis. It produced at the time of glycolysis. Very, very, very important. Okay. So, if at all, if you don't so here when we take here, either you can write like this, 6 ATP is energy produced in the process called as glycolysis, or the same thing you can also write. I am writing again ORR, number of ATPs produced, altogether 4 ATP, because 4 ATPs are produced. So, number of ATPs produced are 4 ATP, right. Then yeah, number of ATPs produced are 4 ATP. Next, number of ATPs, here I can write number of ATPs produced from NADPH2. So, 2 NADPH2, that means 2 into 2 ATP, how much you will get from this also? 4 ATP. Yes or no? Either you can write number of ATPs produced directly 4 ATP, right, because here 2 ATP and here 2 ATP, 2 plus 2, 4 ATPs, and number of ATPs produced from 2 NADPH2. Then 1 NADPH2 contribute 2 ATP, 2 into 2 means 4 ATP. So, what is the total you will get? Total ATP produced is 8 ATP. But in that 2 are minus. Why 2 are minus? Because number of ATP consumed. Number of ATP consumed. So, when you take number of ATP consumed, if you take, there will be 2 only ATP which are consumed. So, we have to do minus, then becomes what? 6 molecules of ATP. So, the net gain what you find in glycolysis is nothing but 6 molecules of ATP. Now, if you look at where these ATPs are produced. So, you have to remember very, very importantly. So, note points so you can write, or the question points you can write. Very importantly, questions you will get. Substrate level phosphorylation 1. What is SLP meaning? Substrate level phosphorylation. Okay, very, very important. Questions or possibilities there from SLP1. Substrate level phosphorylation number 1. Substrate level phosphorylation number 1 means conversion from where to where? 1,3-bis-4. Let me write on the top so that it's very important. But I hope this conversions are, I think you could able to understand the ATP which we got in glycolysis. What is the net gain? 6 molecules of ATP, that you remember. Very, very important. So, what we say, very important points which we are getting, note points, let us take as note points, meaning question getting points, very, very important questions. Okay. So, when we take SLP1, what is SLP1? It is nothing but substrate level phosphorylation, substrate level phosphorylation. Substrate level phosphorylation conversion happens from where to where? That is from 1,3-bisphosphoglyceric acid to 3-phosphoglyceric acid. Which step is that? That is why I have not erased. 1,3-bisphosphoglyceric acid to 3-phosphoglyceric acid. This is nothing but we call substrate level phosphorylation 1. How many ATPs are produced in substrate level phosphorylation 1? There is a formation of 2 ATPs. How many ATPs are produced? There is a formation of 2 ATPs. ATP produced. Okay, remember the step is very very important. Okay, substrate level phosphorylation 1 that converts from this to this. How many ATP are produced? 2 ATP. Next, substrate level phosphorylation 2. Right, so that happens from where to where? Substrate level phosphorylation 2 happens from PEP to PA, that is conversion from phosphoenol pyruvate to pyruvic acid. I hope you can understand short forms. Phosphoenol pyruvate to pyruvic acid, that is substrate level phosphorylation number 2. How many ATPs are produced? ATPs produced here. How many ATPs are produced? Look at here, PEP to PA. How many ATPs? 2 ATPs. So here 2 ATPs are produced. Right? Next is very importantly, next we take that NADPH2. The energy coming from NADPH2. So NADPH2. That means here this is called oxidation 1. Very very important step. Oxidation 1 step happens from where to where? It conversion from G3P to 1,3-bisphosphoglyceric acid. G3P to 1,3-bisphosphoglyceric acid. Now, number of ATPs produced. ATPs produced here. How many? We say 2 NADPH2. 2 are there, 2 NADPH2 are there. So, each NADPH2 contributes. So, 1 NADPH2 contributes for how many ATP? Produces 2 ATP. How many NADPH2 are there? 2 NADPH2 are there. So, 2 into 2 ATP, it produces altogether 4 ATP. So, totally what you find is 8 ATP. So, in NCERT textbook, lastly in number of ATPs addition, he will give 38 ATP, but actually in aerobic 36, because net gain is not removed here. So, this all are nothing but produced. Now, what is consumed? Consumed is nothing but what? Number of ATPs consumed. How many ATPs are consumed here? Number, this is total. The produced is nothing but what you can see here, total. This is total number of ATP. Okay, whenever the question is what is the total number of ATP produced, means 8 ATP. In that number of ATPs consumed, meaning what? How many are consumed? How many are consumed? 2 ATP are consumed. Then minus if you do, again net gain is nothing but how much you will get? 6 ATP you will get it as net gain. So, this 6 ATP is very very important. Which steps they are consumed, number of ATPs, this all are nothing but possibility of getting questions. Where to where the conversions will happen? Conversions will happen from where to where? Glucose to glucose 6-phosphate. That is first step, where how many are consumed? 1 molecules of ATP is consumed. What is the other step in this? What is the other step here? Fructose 1,6-biphosphate, or you can take fructose 6-phosphate to fructose 1,6-biphosphate, and in this step there is one more molecule of ATP is consumed. So, these are the 2 steps, and as a result of this we take 2 molecules of ATPs being consumed. I hope you got the full clarity here in these reactions. These 2 are very very important. In which step there is a production of ATP, which step there is a consumption of ATP, how many ATPs we are getting from NADPH2. Overall total table is very very important. And do remember, glycolysis occurs where? Glycolysis occurs in the cytoplasm. Very very important. Glycolysis, it occurs in where? It occurs in the cytoplasm. Occurs in cytoplasm. Very very important. Right? So, these calculations are very very important. Why? Because we need to note down these calculations once again at the time of balancing of number of ATPs when you complete total respiration. This is only first step. First step is what? Glycolysis. What is the next step? Link reaction. Next step is what? Krebs cycle. Next step is what? ETS. After we complete all 4 steps, once again you need to write the balance sheet for ATP. At that time again this will come into the picture. You have to remember each step of conversions. So this part is very important, and mostly questions will get from the substrate level phosphorylation 1, substrate level phosphorylation 2. They themselves are called dephosphorylation because each step produces 2 molecules of ATP. So energy calculations are very important. I will just quickly let you know, 2 substrate phosphorylation reactions occur and 1 oxidation occur. Suppose if you get the question, ratio between number of substrate level phosphorylations and oxidations, 2:1, because 2 substrate level phosphorylations, 1 oxidation, 2:1 or 1:2. So when you take substrate level phosphorylation 1, number of ATPs produced are 2, and this reaction happens from where to where also you have to remember. That is 1,3-biphosphoglyceric acid to 3-phosphoglyceric acid. Remember 2 molecules of ATP is produced, that is called SLP1. SLP2, substrate level phosphorylation 2, happens when there is a conversion from PEP to pyruvic acid. So how many ATPs are produced? There is a production or formation of 2 molecules of ATP. So whenever the question is the number of ATPs produced by substrate level phosphorylation, don't take option as 8, you take 4. 4 ATPs are produced by substrate level phosphorylation because 2 plus 2. At that time don't take answer as 8 because the question included total number of ATPs produced by substrate level phosphorylation is 4 only will come. Have to be very careful in choosing the question. How many times I say also, here only the people will get confused most of the times in answering the questions. So guys, be careful, right? Next is 2NADPH2 are produced. This is oxidation number 1. It converts G3P to 1,3-biphosphoglyceric acid. This happens even in where? Calvin cycle, photosynthesis. So each 1 NADPH2 contributes for 2 molecules of ATP. That means here altogether 4 ATP. So 4 plus 4, 8 ATP is the total one. So 1 NADPH2 2 ATP, and this is you have to remember for cytoplasm. If it is matrix, 1 NADPH2 contribute for 3 ATP. That will come for next class. But here only 2 ATP. Don't confuse. Right? The number of ATPs consumed are 2. 8 minus 2 if you take 6 ATP. 6 ATP you can take it as a net gain. Where they are produced means conversion from glucose to glucose 6-phosphate. 1 ATP is consumed. Conversion from fructose 6-phosphate to fructose 1,6-biphosphate, 1 ATP is consumed. So 8 minus 2, net gain will be 6 ATP. Suppose if the question is net gain from ATPs means 4 minus 2, only 2. Answer will be only 2 ATP because 4 ATPs are produced, minus 2 are consumed because net gain of ATPs will be 2 only. Net gain will be 2 only. Why? Because if you take the count of only ATPs, as per the question you have to choose. If NADPH2 are involved, then only net gain answer 6 will come. If no NADPH2, net gain answer will be 2 ATP. So energetics calculations for glycolysis, net gain, total, a number of ATP from ATP, number of ATP from NADPH2, you have to practice number of times to avoid confusion.